Okay, so I wanted to show y'all all of the peas. Look at all those beautiful flowers. This is probably like a week or so after the last video, and these turnips are beautiful. They're so pretty. There's some big ones all through here. There's some more back there. The spinach is doing well. I did plant an eggplant right here. I have a volunteer something or other right there. That looks to me like a tomatillo plant. I could be wrong though. I really have no idea what that little plant is. And then there's some more beets. I planted more beets and you can see them kind of coming up right here. So I wonder, I think these carrots, I don't know if they're ready yet. I'm gonna let them keep going. But I will get the turnips pulled up this week. I mean, look how beautiful. Oh, I also harvested my first little strawberry off one of my strawberry plants. I need to wash it up and eat it. But look at how pretty. It's so pretty. So my garlic's doing well. It looks like it's going to be ready soon to pull up. These stalks are huge. Some of them are bigger than others. I think that's just based on like the room that I gave them. Lots more spinach and turnips back there. Trying to get in all my dark leafy greens and my cruciferous vegetables. These tomato plants are doing very well. Even the pepper plants are starting to come back a little bit. I did plant cucumbers along the edge, and the reason why I planted cucumbers along the edge, which I planted I think 3 different varieties, is so that they could either grow up the fence or I could put some like chicken wire all through here and they could grow up that. There's 2 cabbages right here, and then this lettuce is looking good. More cabbages. I need to find out what's going on with those leaves, if there might just be sunburnt. And then more Napa cabbages through there. My lavender is looking good. The rain is helping. Lavender loves water, so I'm looking forward to this. Every time I touch this plant, my hand smells like lavender. It actually kind of smells like mint. It's very interesting. It kind of smells like a minty lavender, or like a eucalyptus lavender. It's odd. Okay, over here, my pepper plants are coming back. They're looking good. Even my tomato plants are looking really well. That one tomato plant in the back, I think I showed y'all in the last video, looks really well. So I have a couple of pepper plants that all the leaves fell off, and I doubt that they'll come back, but everything's looking okay. Those flowers are coming in. I'm interested to see what they look like. Same for like in here. Those were 2 pepper plants that aren't gonna do very well, I don't think. This is where I got my strawberries from. And I have a bunch more in here, which is super fun. I mean, a lot of these little, I even have another one that's turning pink. And then this is the one that I got. And it's probably could have went a little bit longer, but I'm too excited, so I went ahead and got it. I do have honeysuckles back there. I think right over there. Wild blackberries, which I can't get to. And I can't even get to my blueberry bushes. I don't know if you can see it through there. That's a blueberry bush. And then there's some back there, and I'm just, until I cut all of this stuff back or have somebody come out here and do it, and like the kudzu's gonna grow up over it and probably choke them out, and I can't do anything with those. So I really would like to maybe dig them up or just not even worry about them, and maybe one day the next people who live in this house, whenever that is, or maybe 1 year, I can get back there and move them. Hi buddy, what are you doing? Hi babies. So I'm gonna go show y'all my green stalk. I showed it on Instagram, but I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all again. And then I want to show y'all my flowers around my house that are starting to bloom. So my green stalk is looking fantastic. I love this thing. I wish I had 4 more of them. What you want, buddy? You want the ball? Rangy, I got it for you. Okay, So there's lots of little strawberries coming in all over this green stalk, and I love it. And then this lettuce even looks really good. I have a red cabbage plant. The rosemary is looking good. This dill is looking phenomenal. I need to start drying some of this out. And then I got another red cabbage that's looking good. Lots of strawberries. And I planted a green cabbage right here. I think that's the Waltham 29. The dill is taking off. It loves all this rain. I mean, that is just so fun. I need to dry it. And then I still have these plants. I don't want them to go to waste. I may give them to my neighbor. And I have more pepper plants. If some of those other ones kind of die off, that I'm afraid that they will, I will replant those. These are asters, so I need to put them in a pot. This is celery. I'm keeping it in here to kind of see how it does. I'm not really sure how it's gonna do. This is my little fig tree. This is my other fig tree. More pepper plants, which some of these I'm kind of waiting to see. I don't know if they're gonna come up or not. These are asters as well. It doesn't really look like any of those germinated, but you never know, so that's why I'm leaving them out here. And then more chamomile. There's some more chamomile coming through there, which is fun. Apple, mint, I think I already said that. So yeah, that's a little update. I need to clean this. I think this weekend I am going to can some beans that I got. Some dried beans. I'm going to try to can those. And I'm watching to see, although I have all these like strawberry plants, I'm really watching to see if Publix has their $1 container sales for the strawberries, so I can make more jam, because that's such a good deal. No sir, quit licking that. No sir, stop. That's bad for you. So I'll keep y'all updated on all of that. Okay, here's my Brussels sprout recipe. I have had these Brussels sprouts probably about 2 weeks, and they were sitting in my refrigerator. So the first thing I'm doing is preparing them. I needed to clean them, so I started by taking off the outer layers of the Brussels sprouts, and then I let them soak in vinegar and salt and water to help them get clean and get any pesticides or bugs or dirt or anything that was left on them to get them off. So I let them soak for about 15 minutes. And then I start preparing my sauce that I'm going to put over them. And when I do that, as you will see soon, I use maple syrup, balsamic vinegar, salt, pepper, turmeric, paprika, garlic. Today I use ginger. And sometimes I mix it up and I add a few different things in, but that was all that I had that time, or this time, for this recipe. Sometimes I'll put hot sauce in there. Sometimes I'll put some different spices like cayenne or something like that. Yeah, so I'm using Redmond real salt to help the vinegar get any bugs or anything off of those. I will put my recipe for these Brussels sprouts down below. Then I am cutting up an onion. So I put an onion with some olive oil in a glass baking dish. And at first I thought I was going to dice them, but then I decided to leave them long. So I don't use that half of, like the whole half of the onion that I have there. I probably use about half of that, because once I started breaking it apart and putting it in the bottom of the pan, I realized that it was a lot of onion, and it covered the bottom of the pan. So I put some back in a baggie, and I just put that back in my refrigerator, and I'll use that for a different recipe later on that week. So there are my onions in my glass baking dish, and then I go and I pour a little bit of olive oil in the bottom. Okay, so here you see me just pouring probably about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of the balsamic, olive oil, maple syrup. I did use white wine vinegar, pepper. So it's probably about a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper, a quarter of a teaspoon of paprika, a dash of the garlic powder, and then I did probably a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, and I taste tested it. And this is our food, so I can stick my fingers in it. My hands are clean. It's not a big deal. I put some thyme and ginger, more salt, mix it all together, tasted it again, and then I will pour this over the Brussels sprouts after I chop them up and put them with the onions in the pan. I'm just cleaning up my mess in the background as I go so I don't have as much to clean up at the end. Next, we are going to be making some homemade guacamole, which is just really simple the way I like it. I used probably a quarter of a lemon after the everything was all said and done. I used one whole avocado, salt and pepper, and you'll see that in a minute. First, I am going to put a sweet potato in the microwave. This is my least favorite way to cook a sweet potato, and it actually didn't turn out that good. I think I overcooked it. My favorite way to do sweet potatoes is in the oven, wrapped in tin foil, covered with a little bit of olive oil and sea salt or like flaky salt, and bake on 400 for about an hour. The inside of that sweet potato will be fantastic. So here I'm doing the guacamole. I needed to use this avocado. And right now, Publix is having a sale. $1 avocados are 10 for 10. And so I just got a bunch of avocados. It was probably the next day or so after this was recorded. And I'm going to prep some of those for smoothies. And I'm going to probably make some guacamole for dinner again tonight. So as you can see, I'm just getting off some of the brown spots since this avocado was fairly ripe. If I would have used a spoon, that would have been so much easier. So I just put it in a little bowl. And then once I got all the avocado out, I had about half of a lemon in my refrigerator. And so I squeezed the entire thing into this bowl and I started mushing it up. And I thought I was going to have an additional avocado, but turns out that one wasn't as ripe. And so I ended up draining off some of the lemon juice and adding the salt and pepper. And it ended up being good, really good. I like my guacamole with a lot of lemon and lime and salt. Not everybody likes it that way, but I like mine. So I wasn't too concerned about doing half of a lemon with one avocado, but the problem was it was still kind of liquidy, and so that's why I had to drain off some of the juice. And I just added my salt and pepper, mixed it all up, and as you can see, it's kind of watery down in the bottom. And this is when I discovered that this avocado that I'm currently cutting up was not ripe because it is taking a minute for me to get it off of the seed in the middle. And I decided not to use that avocado. It's actually still sitting in my refrigerator, so I'm not really sure if it will ever ripen up. Okay, so I just drained off a little bit of that juice and I'm mixing it up really well. And then I go and I get my chips, and I'm using some organic blue corn chip from Target that I got to try the guacamole. And it actually was fantastic. I ate the whole thing by myself because Kason doesn't like avocados. Avocados are actually really good for you. They're one of the best healthy fats. You can see the reflection of my new ring light in the counter. So in the background, I am washing my cutting board off to get ready to finish up these Brussels sprouts. So I'm just going to cut the ends off of them and then cut them in half and put them in the pan with those onions. After I put them in the bowl with the marinade, and so I just kind of toss them around in there, and then I pour all of that over the onions. And I bake it on like 350 for probably like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. It's kind of your own personal preference. I like my Brussels sprouts a little bit softer, but like crispy around the outside. And that's what that maple syrup does. It makes it crispy. So I mixed it all together so it also coated the onions as well, and I put it in the oven. Okay, so I found my first pea on here, and I already picked it and took it inside, but there's more growing. And I just noticed these, and I was out here yesterday, and there's another one right there. And my pea plants are doing fantastic. I mean, I just love growing peas. So I have a volunteer tomatillo plant. How cool is that? I also pulled up some of my beets. I have them laying right there, one right here. And I found these little bugs on my pea plants. And so I'm just pushing them into some water if I can with soap. That's just the safest way instead of spraying all my stuff. So I'm about to get some of that lettuce. We're making BLTs for dinner tonight. And yeah, but I want to show you that. Oh, I also got another strawberry. It's a little tiny one, and there's some more that are turning red also. Okay, so I just harvested these turnips. Look at how pretty they are. And I will probably cook these for dinner tomorrow night. And if I can, I'll clean up these turnip greens and save those. But they're so pretty. Okay, so these are some of the herbs I just harvested. The dill and the rosemary are from my green stalk, and so I'm going to tie them up and let them just dry. I have some herbs that have been drying for months and months in my pantry. And then this is the beautiful basil that I grew in my click and grow garden inside. Isn't that so pretty? I'm gonna use some of this in a green juice that I'm making, and then I will hang dry some of it also. I used a lot of my homegrown basil last year. I really probably should have planted more basil outside this year, but I didn't. I might still, I don't know. But then I wanted to show you guys lettuce and spinach that I grew. I have it just soaking. The lettuce we'll use tonight for BLTs, and the spinach I will use in either a green juice or I will freeze it. But yeah, so I have it soaking right now because there's spider mites sometimes and dirt and other little buggies. So yeah. So I swear these come out of nowhere. Look, I have so many, I feel like. And these are going to be purple. There's one over here, that one's ready. There's another one. There's gotta be more. And I'm getting these. There's gotta be more that I don't see. So I'm going to dig through here and see if I can find more. I see this one, but I don't think that one's ready yet. So I'm gonna look behind here and see if I can find more. Every year I'm learning the best way to do this kind of stuff, and this definitely is not the best way, but at least they have something to grow up. I don't know, we'll figure it out for next year. Maybe I just do 2 beds or 3 beds and just do them along the back of the beds. Do my peas along the back of the beds. Oh, look. Those back there that are growing up are beans. So that's pretty cool. Got beans growing up. And then some other cool fun stuff. My cucumbers. That's what I wanted to show y'all. All my cucumbers. They're like double the size they were like 2 days ago when I recorded. Look at that little cucumber.